Hey guys, got another knife review here for you today. Normally we'd be looking at my table, but this one is going to be a review on the Voyager X2. And this thing was actually too big to show you on the table. I couldn't get the whole thing in frame. I had to back up my camera so much where I was uncomfortable reaching around it. So anyway, we're standing up, we're looking at my the back of my bedroom door as if I'm about to do a battle song review. And the first thing I want to show you is actually this knife closed and clipped to a pocket. Now, most people seeing this knife, you're going to say, well, you're never going to get that in your pocket. It's going to be extremely uncomfortable to carry, so forth. I have the knife clipped here inside of a pair of dress shorts, just regular cargo shorts, actually. And you could tell it's a knife, but not any more than you would any other folder. You don't really have too much information just by seeing this as is. But once I pull it out of the pocket, you'll see that it's a fairly large knife. Now this is the biggest in the Voyager line from Cold Steel. There you have the medium Voyager, which has a 3-inch blade. Then you have the large Voyager, which has a 4-inch blade. Then you have a extra large. If the 4-inch wasn't enough, you got a 5-inch blade on the extra large Voyager. And then you have this thing. This thing has a full 6-inch blade. Now look at this in comparison to my hand. Okay, obviously I'm stepped back from the camera here, so hopefully you can see. I'm not behind the camera, so if I'm not completely in frame, please excuse that. But look at this in comparison to my hand. Okay, if you were to carry this thing, you saw that in the pocket. That's not too conspicuous. But if for some reason you need to carry something for self-defense, with this curved handle here, okay, you get a really secure grip, even holding it way back here. I mean, look at the reach I have. Okay. Now, I mean, that's amazing for a folding knife. I mean, looking in comparison to the very tip of that blade, that fully sharpened 6-inch blade, in comparison to my hand, I'm going to outreach most people's, I would say, fixed blades. Medium-sized fixed blades. So that definitely is a huge advantage as far as self-defense goes. Now, that being said, this is a lockback knife. Some people say that if you have a lockback knife, it's not good for self-defense because if you really grip that thing hard, you might hit that lock. And obviously, closing the blade is not what you want to do, especially if you're defending your life. But to be honest, even with a good grip over here, I can grip all around this handle. I don't feel any pressure on that lockback. Might not be the safest thing to do, but it's up to you. I would say it's probably personal preference. I happen to like a lockback on a bigger knife. I mean, this thing's just over the top. It's almost comical. Now, this is not a knife you want to take out in the middle of Walmart to cut a string off your shirt. Obviously, keep that in mind. Okay, there are certain legality. You have to take a certain look at the law here. Now, most states you don't have a requirement or a blade limit, I should say. Where I live, I'm in Pennsylvania, I don't have a blade limit. I can carry this if I want. Problem is, if I get stopped and the cop sees it, he has the right to ask me why I have a knife of this size. Okay, so I have to give him a good reason why I carry this. I can't tell him, well, I like to open my mail. That's not a good reason for a big knife like this. So you want to keep stuff like that in mind. Let's see, I got paper here with some specs on it, so let me read that to you. Like I said, the handle is 7 1/4 inches long. The overall length open is 13 1/4 inches long. Weight is 6.5 ounces, and the blade is a VG1. Okay. This thing is just a beast. You have that massive clip point blade. Even though you have a lot of cutting edge here, you have a really nice tip. Okay, for penetrating power if you needed to, for stabbing. This is just over the top. You have the Zytel handles. It is nice solid lockup. There's rivets here instead of screws on the pivot and for the body. So, I mean, there's no blade play in any direction whatsoever. It's really solid lockup. But if for some reason it got sloppy and loose on you, you'd have to send it back. There's nothing you can do to adjust it, the tension. Let me actually wipe the fingerprints off there I just put on there. Pretty high polished blade. And these things, they do come razor sharp. I mean, let me get my little note I had here. Even for a big knife, I mean, most people are familiar with the Cold Steel knives. Even for a big blade, it's going to perform for you fairly well. Can't beat that, right? So, I mean, this is a whole lot of knife. I don't remember price off the top of my head. I want to say like $75, somewhere around there. This, obviously, I'm not going to recommend this as an EDC. It's just too big. But it's a really cool knife to have, for the novelty factor. Definitely the, it's an impressive knife. You can't deny that. It is a very impressive knife, and it is actually a knife you can use. I would not, even though this has a very large blade, I would not use this in any kind of situation you might use a fixed blade. I would not baton with this. I would not, do certain tasks like that, some kind of camp tasks, just because it's not meant for that. It is a folding knife in the end, and it's not meant for those type of cutting tasks. So it's kind of, I want to say it's a little impractical, which it is. I don't have to lie about that. It is an impractical knife for most people, but it's still really cool, and that was reason enough for me to get it. So that is the Cold Steel Voyager X2. Once again, thank you very much for your support, watching the video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.